What's going on YouTube? Now, while the F-150 more than meets the needs of most people, there are a select group of very special people that need something more. And that is where this Super Duty comes in, especially after a refresh that goes more than skin deep by adding even more capability than ever before. But with the all-new Silverado and Ram heavy duties now out, is this the best option? Let's go ahead and find out. So getting started here with the exterior design, like any good refresh, we do have some new designs up here in the front. So pretty much every single F-250 is going to come with a brand new fascia. On this Lariat, basically they've done away with the two large thick chrome pieces in the middle, and instead we have some thinner ones that are separated by these two accents right here in the middle. Now it does have a new shape, which is a slightly less square than before, but it still fits inside of these large bracket-shaped LED headlights. Now on this Lariat, these are actually optional, and it does come standard with a halogen headlight instead. But like I said, the actual design of this unit is a little bit different this year. And the same also goes for the LED fog light, which is now a bar. So with the Lariat F-250, Ford keeps things relatively simple. So what you'll start out with is an 18-inch alloy, and you get the choice between a contrast finish, a full black finish, or a chrome finish. Then you have the option of 20-inch alloys, which is what we have, and those come in those same three different finishes. And then moving on up here, you have your large F-250 branding. You've got your Power Stroke branding. And then we have these gigantic mirrors. These are the towing mirrors. They actually come standard on every single Super Duty. And then here on the Lariat, they've got all the tricks. So you have power folding, you have the power extension, you have heating, and you also have blind spot monitoring. Now, nowhere is size going to be more obvious with this F-250 than here at the side, since this model is over 250 inches long, even with the just regular size bed. So of course you do have different bed and cab configurations. So for this Lariat, you can actually get the crew cab, which is what we have here, or the double cab configuration. And then you do also have the option of a 6-foot 8-inch bed or a optional 8-foot long bed. Now the 2020 refresh has actually changed a little bit back here at the rear design of this F-250. So starting out, the most obvious change is going to be these LED taillights. They have a different design for this refresh year, however they still are fully LED. And then as far as your tailgate, this actually has been revised. Everything's kind of shifted up. So your Ford emblem has shifted up to the top, as well as your Super Duty branding has been moved from this bottom area. And then finishing off the design, we do have two gigantic exhaust pipes for this Super Duty model. And then walking up to the tailgate, you do have a remote release if you want that, or you can just push the button up under the lid, and of course it is nicely dampened. Now once inside, there isn't a ton of stuff to talk about back here. We don't have a bed liner, however we do have LED lighting on both sides. And as far as your payload, you are going to come in at a maximum of 3,370 pounds. And then in order to get into the bed, you do have Ford's assist step system, so you can just fold this out and have easy access into the bed. Now, of course, you're probably more concerned with the towing for the Super Duty. That's really the reason why most people end up getting this model. And these are just absolutely astronomical figures. So they have actually increased this for 2020, and the maximum for the F-250 Super Duty is going to be 35,200 pounds with a particular towing configuration with gooseneck towing and a lot of different things. That's not exactly what this particular model has. This particular model, as equipped, has a maximum of 19,100 pounds, but just do know that if you really need that 35,000 pound rating, that is available with this Super Duty. Now, Ford has also updated these safety systems for 2020 by adding expanded availability even on the lower end models. So this Lariat's going to get blind spot monitoring, auto high beam headlamps, lane keeping alert, and a pre-collision braking system, and have optional adaptive cruise control. Well, anyway, guys, that sums up the exterior design for this F-250. So now let's go ahead and hop inside before we take it out on the road.
So walking up to the 2020 Super Duty, you will find Ford's intelligent entry system, as well as remote start on the Lariat with the Ultimate package. And of course, to get inside the vehicle itself, there is a sensor behind the handle, so all you have to do is grab it. Now let me extend my arms up here so we can actually see inside of the cabin. Now once you're looking in, you will see that most of it is pretty much the same as last year, but there are some different changes as we go throughout the interior. Now as far as the different ways you can configure the interior of the Lariat Super Duty, you've got the choice between both bench or bucket seats. And then on this trim level you have standard leather with your choice of this black or the light camel color. Now turning over here to your door trim, this is typical F-Series, so you have leather across the armrest here with a color contrast stitching detail. This part is soft touch, and then we have a nice looking faux wood trim running through here. As far as your windows, all four of these are going to be one-touch automatic. You'll also find 3-person memory seating when you choose the Lariat Ultimate package. Panning over here to your seat, this is the standard 10-way power adjusting seat with 2-way lumbar support. And then like I was already mentioning, we do have standard real leather with that typical nice and attractive design that F-Series always has. Now obviously this is a very large truck, but we do have a standard fixed running board on this trim level. You can get a Power 1 on some other trim levels. And we have a nice driver's side assist grip, so getting in is pretty easy even for someone very short like myself. Now glancing around this cabin, like I said, the main components have not really changed this year. And as far as your materials, on the Lariat version, you're going to have the premium materials. So you have a soft touch dashboard with a color contrast stitching detail. Down here in the middle, we have a piece of silver trim with the Super Duty branding. Then as we move down to lower areas, this is hard touch. We have some more of this faux wood, and everything does fit together very nicely. No matter right over here, we have the standard push button start. So as far as your gauges, this is your typical F-Series setup. So in the middle here, we actually have an 8-inch display. This is going to be standard on the Lariat. And of course, you have all access to all types of information, including your off-road stuff and specific things for towing. And then coming back to the steering wheel itself, it is nicely leather wrapped. You do have electric power assisted steering. Now on this Lariat with the Ultimate package, we actually have a power adjustment as well as the power adjusting pedals. However, we do not have heating. Now off here on the right side, this is one of the differences of the Super Duty compared to the regular F-150, and that's that you will always have a column shifter. So of course for drive, just pull down. You can go down once more to a manual mode if you want to shift with these little toggles. You can also press the end here to adjust your different drive modes. Heading into reverse here, you will notice we have the regular backup camera. This is going to be standard on the vast majority of the trim levels, but we do have active trajectory as well as rear parking sensors. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about interior storage, because this is the heavy duty after all. We expect it to have tons of storage, and indeed it does. This center console here is just absolutely insanely large. You know, it has a ridiculous amount of space. And obviously we can just throw in our coupons there. It doesn't even make a dent. So actually today I brought something a little bit bigger just to kind of show off how this fits. This is a 18-inch hubcap, 17 inches, I'm not sure exactly, but We're gonna stick that in there, and as you can see, actually fits no problem. So you know, it's kind of crazy, but you know, you can even fit an entire hubcap in there if you want. Now up in front of this, we have another really large storage area. We also have some cup holders, and it continues to have this really cool feature where you can slide over and actually make 4 cup holders. And then we have another storage area. This one has a wireless phone charging pad with the Lariat Ultimate package, as well as your USB Type A and Type C connections. And I could keep going. We have some more storage here and some more up there, as well as some more in the door. So, you know, you're gonna have plenty of storage for whatever type of job you are trying to tackle. All right, so now let's move on past that. You will see your 4-wheel drive controls right up here on the left side, as well as our trailer brake controller. This specific example does not have it, but new for the 2020 Super Duty is the trailer backup assist, just like in the F-150. So you can hook up your trailer, and instead of turning the steering wheel, you'll just turn the knob, so you can get that trailer backed up exactly where it's supposed to be. Over here on the other side, we have our 12-volt outlet, as well as a household outlet. And then down below that, we have the typical dual zone automatic climate control setup. Obviously, it is easy to adjust with 2 large knobs, and all the buttons are located physically right here. Additionally, we also have 3-stage heated seats. Those are going to be standard on the Lariat, and the 3-stage ventilation is part of the Lariat Ultimate package. Alright, so now that brings us on up here to our audio system. Standard on the Lariat grade of the Super Duty and up is going to be the 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen premium audio system. So let's go ahead and take a sample of that right now. Sound quality of this system is excellent, and the bass is extremely good. Alright, so now we are here at our Sync 3 system. Now this is the updated version, so it has a little bit more processing power, as well as the updated graphics that are a little bit different than before, but pretty much the function remains roughly the same. Now, like many of the features inside of this truck, we do have the integrated navigation system, which is part of the Lariat Ultimate package. But regardless of whether you choose that option or not, you will have both standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. Now up above that, we have an auto dimming mirror, but we do not have the HomeLink remote. And then one of the most standout features, still very impressive to see on a truck, we have a panoramic sunroof. So this actually goes all the way back. If we can go ahead and slide that shade back, all the way almost to the rear window. So it's certainly an extremely impressive thing to see.
All right, by now you should probably know that the F-250 has a lot of space, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that back here there is an absolute crap ton of space. Now, as far as your technical measurements, you're going to come in at 44 inches of your legroom and 40 inches of your headroom, which does put it above the new Silverado heavy duty. And behind your seating position, I mean, there's at least a foot, if not a foot and a half of space, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. So you're certainly not going to have any issues with people back here. Now, as far as your feature set back here, we do have cup holders up top, as well as vents, and quite a few power outlets. So you have a 12-volt outlet, as well as a USB Type-C and a smart charging USB, in addition to a regular household style outlet, and that's going to be on all of the Lariat models. And then you do also have a fold-down armrest with pop-out cup holders inside. Now, of course, your rear seats can also fold to give you additional capability back here. So all you have to do is locate this little strap right here, pull it, and then you can easily fold the seat up. And then you'll notice that what Ford has done back here is you actually have like a crate that you can store stuff in that it won't roll around. So maybe something like tools, something useful. And then you can also fold it down by using these little levers. And then it does give you a flat loading floor. So if you're looking to throw something in here, maybe a lawnmower or something like that, you can do that back here. Now over here at the passenger seat, we do actually have power adjustment even on this Lariat model. And then in front, you do have a decent sized glove box. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed in the sizing of this for everything else being so massive. This is pretty narrow. I mean, it definitely has room for our Burger King coupons, but it's not really a massive amount of space. And then you do also have a little pop-out cubby above that. And then up top, we do have a giant sun visor with mirror and lighting, and it does also detach as well as extend.
And that's 60 miles an hour right there. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It doesn't even make sense, this thing. Like, all of these heavy duty trucks, it's mind boggling. Like, if you've never experienced this, like, make sure, even if you're not interested in trucks at all, just go and pretend like you want a super duty or heavy duty truck and drive one, because it's insane, the sensation. It's so fast in something that's just so big. This is like a bus.
And it does it in such a nonchalant manner. It's not like, you know, a Ford Mustang GT500 or something where it throws you back in your seat or anything. It's just like, it seems like you just get up to 60 and it still almost seems like you're sitting still. It's nuts.
Right. Now, as you can probably hear, we've got the diesel, the Power Stroke diesel, and that has been updated this year. So what we have on board is a 6.7 liter turbo diesel V8, 475 horsepower, and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. The numbers are just stupid crazy. You know, in the heavy-duty truck race, they keep upping the numbers to one-up each other, and this year that upgrade does bring the F-250 as the top in the class.
Yeah, I have to say that's a Car Confections first, a torque figure that is 4 digits.
Yes.
that is a first for us.
And that's not the only news as far as the engines as well. Ford is actually introducing an all-new gas motor to go along with the diesel option. So you have a 7.3 liter V8 gas engine now offered in addition to the 6.2 liter gas engine.
And as far as the horsepower figures for that engine, it's 430 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, which is, you know, the best in class for a regular V8 engine. And then if you're going to go with just the completely standard option, that's going to be a 6.2 liter V8, 385 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque.
That's bonkers. That was 70 miles an hour uphill.
This thing is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it is a torque monster. Like he was saying, that's really the oddest part of the sensation is, since this is a diesel, you're not just like revving it out or whatever, you know. So you just, you know, and then all of a sudden
80 miles an hour.
I mean, mind-boggling. But you know, really, when you're behind the wheel, you have no doubt of the figures that Ford provides as far as towing, because this thing feels like it could tow just about anything. I mean, with that type of power, you know, regular stuff like a boat, I don't even think you're going to feel that it's behind you at all.
Yeah. Now, of course, getting up to speed there, you're also going to be concerned with the ride quality. And basically, as I've said with any of the numerous F-150 reviews that we've done, the Raptor, the F-150 Platinum, whatever, this vehicle, it really just has an exceptional ride quality. You know, trucks nowadays are no longer rough riding, just big boats. It is, you know, this is actually a legitimately luxurious ride. And this is not even like a Platinum model or anything like that. Now, of course, it is little bouncy. You know, this is a giant Super Duty truck, but it certainly has a fantastic ride quality.
You know, and it's designed to, when you load it down, as you should with a heavy duty truck, you know, you're designed to be able to you know, even out that ride a little bit. It's going to smooth out with the more weight you put behind it.
Yeah. And as far as the noise level, I will go ahead and get a sound level reading here. Certainly sounds quiet. But yeah, so going around 45, I think, is where we're about going. It's coming in at around 55 decibels, which is certainly a good figure, especially with, you know, a big diesel engine. You know, this is like a semi-truck in that regard.
Now, in addition to the new engines, the other big update for the F-250 or the whole Super Duty lineup is that we have a new heavy-duty 10-speed automatic transmission that's going to replace the 6-speed automatic transmission for the new 7.3-liter gas engine, as well as the Power Stroke. You know, and I have to say, very impressed by this transmission, just like I have been in other applications of the regular version with the F-150. Shifts are imperceptible. We're actually cruising here. We're in the 10th gear. So since we took off, you know, it shifted 10 times, and you really just don't even feel it happening. That's very impressive. Also, it's extremely responsive when you change throw application. So you put your foot down, and it just drops to 7th gear right there. You know, so certainly very good to see that.
Acceleration just never gets old, but
it really doesn't. It activates like the child in you that just like wants to drive a semi truck or whatever. You're just like, ooh, trucks.
And you know, finally, we do need to talk about the fuel economy for this. Well, you know, there is none. With these Super Duty trucks, the EPA is actually not required to rate it, or I don't know, someone's not required to rate it, so they just don't. I would not expect to get good fuel economy out of this. If you're giving it an estimate, I would say it's probably not great.
We can check and see. This one here has been driven 122 miles. So let's see. Average 14.5 miles per gallon.
That's
actually not that bad. This is over 8,500 pounds, which is why it doesn't have to be rated by the EPA, because that's basically you know, a semi-truck more or less. I have to say, I thought it was going to be worse than that. Yeah. So realistically, even though it's not rated, that doesn't mean that it gets like 0 miles per gallon. It just, you know, like I said, that's just a procedural thing for the EPA. So to conclude, I have to say there's really not much of anything I can think of negative to say about this Super Duty with the Power Stroke. I mean, it is seriously impressive. I mean, the way this thing gets up and moves, it really just defies the laws of physics. You know, and it really leaves no doubt in my mind that this will be able to handle anything that you throw at it.
Alrighty, now let's go ahead and discuss the pricing. So the below MSRPs are going to be for the cheapest F-250 model you can get in that trim level. So starting at the XL, that's going to be $33,705, XLT $38,485, Lariat $46,800, King Ranch $59,000, Platinum $65,895, and then the Top Dog limited trim at $83,600. Now we do have a few options added onto that. So we have the big ticket item, which is that diesel engine, of course. That's $10,495. We also have the 3.31 locking axle for $390, chrome package $1125, engine block heater $100, twin panel moonroof $1495, LED headlamps $1180.
chrome aluminum wheels, $13.40, and the Lariat Ultimate package for $34.95. And then when you add in the destination charge of $15.95, you're going to come to an as-tested price with this particular model at $73,330, which certainly is a steep price point for, you know, any type of truck. But, you know, you got to keep in mind though with these vehicles how capable this is. This is basically like a little semi truck. So and it also is quite nice on the inside. So definitely a lot to like here in this F-250 Lariat.
Well guys, we've enjoyed watching this in-depth look at the 2020 Ford F-250 Lariat. We really appreciate you watching, and if you made it this far in the video, hopefully that means you enjoyed at least a little bit, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.